Alrighty, hello there, family. Uh, Welcome to Inspirational Vitamin. This is Byron. Um, it's coming to you from Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 through 2, and then verse 11 and 16. I'm hopping all over the place because this is basically about the Magi, and they aren't really mentioned too much in the scriptures. It says, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him. Picking up in verse 11, it says, on coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And I'm going to pick back up in verse 16. It says, when Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious, and he gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. And so when I was reading this, I don't know, I felt like I read it for the first time. And I actually read it a little bit before Hamilton spoke on this just a little bit on Sunday. And I thought to myself, man, and with the Magi, it says that they traveled from the east. And there's a lot of speculation on, because it doesn't say exactly how far east they traveled. But there is, the theory is that they traveled probably between about 400 to 600 miles, is what some people speculate. And it's also speculated that it took weeks, potentially months, for them to get to him. I think what we do know is that it probably took less than 2 years. King Herod had all the boys 2 years and under killed. With him being as anal, I don't know if I can say that in Inspirational Vitamins, but with him being the way that he was, I'm sure that if the Magi said the king was born 2 years ago, that he would have probably killed the 3-year-olds and under, or 2.5 and under. So he probably wanted to cover his bases. So it was they probably estimated a year or so that the child was born. But that's totally me speculating that, by the way. But the thing that I thought about was, how long did it take them to travel? You know, they traveled for at least weeks, potentially months. And if we assume that they were following the star, that probably meant that they were traveling primarily at night, which would double or increase their amount of time, because they weren't walking consistently. They were just walking when the stars were out. But I thought, man, how much their lives were uprooted just to go and worship Jesus. They left their home for weeks, if not months. They potentially traveled at night and changed their entire sleeping pattern. I don't know. But how they basically did all this, and the Bible doesn't say they hung around and stayed for a certain amount of time with Jesus or Mary or Joseph. From what I can tell, they literally came, they worshiped, they gave him gifts, and they left and went back home. And I thought, they did all that prepping before, and then all the travel to return back home for one time of worship. And I thought, man, how far do we travel to worship? What is our worship like? And I think about them, and I thought, what were the conversations like? when they were going to following that star, and what was their mindset like, and just bent on worship. And I need to get to this baby, to the Messiah, you know, and how amazing that journey back home must have been, the conversations that took place. And I want my worship to be like that. I want energy and excitement when I'm going to worship. And I want just an overwhelming feeling of joy and satisfaction as I leave worship, and just seasoned with salt conversations, and just, I'm sure it was an amazing time. It was an amazing weeks and months leading up to and going back home, and especially that time there. So I just want to share that with you all, and prayerfully you all will think about your times of worship, not just on Sunday, but the times that you worship God. What is that like? And what is it like leading up to it and when you're done worshiping? And let's continue to increase that and just show God the type of worship that he is worthy of. Have a fantastic weekend. Love you.